Yo, what's good, guys? I was gonna do this reading earlier today, but for various reasons it didn't happen, so it's a late night reading. Not that that really means anything to you guys, because by the time that anyone else sees this, it will probably not be right now. So, I felt called to pull some messages for just whenever. I don't really like doing, readings for specific months or anything like that, because when people are going to find these is really random. So I like doing timeless stuff, so this is going to fall into that category, and we're going to see what comes out. Also, I'm wearing a microphone, so it's probably going to pick up like my voice clearly, but I'm not tired. I'm just used to speaking really quietly because I don't know, there's just something about nighttime that makes me want to be like, okay, like, don't be so loud, like, very that. So, make no mistake, I have all the energy in the world for this. One more. Of course, it would fall on the floor. That's okay. Okay. So, whoever this is for, you're wanting to build something in the physical realm, practically, whether that's a business, a project, something tangible, something physical, something that would require organization, of people and resources, and a collaboration of those things. Um, it's linked to a sort of, I don't know if you're going to be able to see the cards, but I'm going to hold them up anyways to reference what I'm getting from each of them. I don't always remember to do this, but feeling foggy, so I'm going to do it this time. So Nine of Water is giving like something related to a wish fulfillment, something that you feel very emotionally attached to, like a wish perhaps, like, oh, I would really love to do this, I've always dreamed of doing this. And so I'm burping, I hope that's not too loud. The Three of Earth being like a collaborative sort of physical building and combination of resources and people. And the woman here is just kind of like doing one of these, like as if to look out. And that tells me that you're searching for the people to ground this with. The King of Fire, either that's you or that's these other people, the characteristics of the other people that you're wanting to include in this project. You're wanting people that are passionate and sort of leadership oriented, but heart centered as well, and not so shadow leadership energy, which would look more like domineering and like, willing to do anything in order to maintain that position, or like my way or the highway, like that kind of energy. The opposite of that would be like team oriented and equally as passionate, but not blind to the importance of collaboration and working with one another. followed by the Ace of Air, which is the Ace of Swords, and then the Three of Fire. And the Ace of Air is either you are coming to the realization that these are the characteristics that you would need in people, or you yourself to embody in order to achieve this and properly ground this, and in order to move forward. So this is either qualities that you need to adopt or encourage within yourself if you already have them, in order to move forward, and you're either coming to that realization that you need that yourself in order to move forward, or the people around you need to have that in order for this to move forward. I feel like the card shuffling is a lot louder than I am. Okay. So maybe you're surrounding yourself with people right now that do not have these characteristics. And maybe that's reflected in you to some degree as well, but maybe it's the realization that you can't build with people that are constantly trying to tear it down, whether intentionally or unintentionally. That's like trying to build with people that you need them to be proactive and responsible, and you've just surrounded yourself with people that are chronically irresponsible, and you expect them to be different than they are. So, Seven of Swords and the Four of Wands, clarifying the King of Fire, which is the King of Wands. So maybe you're surrounding yourself with people that are too focused on the short-term celebratory partying sort of like experience of like instant gratification sort of things, and as a result will vie for their best interests independent of what is good for the whole and good for the project, and thus offering this sort of like stingy conditional energy, whatever that looks like. Or maybe you're also realizing that that's you. Like I said, take it however it resonates. One more. So you're needing a blend of this sort of King of Swords energy where it's like, these are my boundaries. This is like what I'm looking for. I'm not willing to budge on the things that are important to me and the energy that is actually needed in order to ground this. Like, very like, when I say boundary, it's really just like a defining sort of quality of like, in order for this thing to take shape, I have to ensure that the container for it is proper. And the King of Swords energy of like boundary and definition is, when I say definition, I mean like something that like literally defines something, not like explanation. Willing to do what it takes in a balanced way to establish this container. Whether that's like, oh no, I can't like do that with these people and telling them that, or establishing the container within yourself of being like very direct with yourself of like, okay, well, we're not gonna give this, you know, instant gratification energy the wheel of the car, essentially, to be in the driver's seat, to steer and make all the decisions, because I have this very real goal that I want to achieve, and I know how to do it, and so it's not compromising. With the Page of Cups and the Ten of Spheres, and now this also gives two things, like one of which I already touched on kind of accidentally, but like that Page of Cups energy referring to like emotional immaturity and like whether that's being addressed within yourself or within other people. You can't build a building, for example, that requires expert architects and construction workers with people that have never been in that arena. Like you're asking people that are bakers to become construction workers. So the Ten of Pentacles basically alluding to the fact that if you want this long-term like stability within this project or whatever it is, you have to hire the right crew. Unapologetically. It's not personal. It's just that if you want the job done correctly, like you need to hire the people with the actual skill set and the experience to make it happen instead of like wishful thinking or like letting your emotions get the better of you of like maybe you have a personal attachment to these people or you have an attachment to the instant gratification, so you need to become very clear and very real with yourself about what it takes in order to get this to come to fruition. There's one other thing. Maybe it'll come back to me. So we have fire. Queen of Swords and the Two of Pentacles with the Hermit on the bottom. So this speaks to me about more of like what I was just talking about, like Three of Fire being the forward momentum. In order to maintain this forward momentum once you have done the weeding out in whatever way that looks like, whether it's external or internal, it's the maintaining of that. Stand on that. Like, you can't just say it and then it's like the New Year's resolution, whatever the fuck's the resolutions where it's like, I'm gonna go to the gym, and then 3 months later, like, it's like, nah, I'm not gonna stick to that. None of that energy. Like, there needs to be a firm commitment. There needs to be an honoring of the boundary within self, and also externally, you need to surround yourself with people that honor that boundary, and if they don't, then you're at a choice point of what is more important to you. What are you sacrificing? And so then continuing forward with that energy of essentially prioritizing what is important to you in those moments and balancing your practical resources and energy, inclusive of your own personal energy, like self-care kind of things included. You can't bulldoze aspects of yourself and hope to get anywhere, at least not like in the long term. You're going to burn yourself out. So take the time that you need, establish boundaries around that, make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right people, and make sure that you are the right person that you need to be in order to allow this to come to fruition. I want to see what else, anything else that wants to come through, any kind of advice, any additional anything. Jesus. every time I use this deck, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Every time I use this deck, it likes to spit half of it out, and it's like, oh, let's just get a couple finishing cards, and it's like, here's 20 of them to read. Queen of Wands, Page of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. It's interesting that we have two counterparts here, the King and Queen of Wands and the King and Queen of Swords. So I'm getting a couple things, like the Queen of Wands being a very creative, sort of confident individual, passionate as well, but that's something I already mentioned. Allows this to be a slow burn of like creative passion blended with what I said previously of like the self-care and making sure your energy levels are as they need to be and all that jazz. You want it to be a slow burn. You want this fire to be hot but last for a long time and not so hot and intense that it burns up and then you're just like fizzling out. Like, yeah, I had this real intense motivation for the first 3 months, but then it's gone. Like, none of that. You need it to be like, I can go the distance with this. And the Ace of Cups. Filling your cup, making sure that your cup emotionally is overflowing or filled up at the very least. And that comes with choosing the right people to surround yourself with, choosing the right people to share this with, choosing the right people to let in internally, like letting other people's opinions sway you. Be mindful who you let in that respect as well, because everybody has opinions, but not all of them are worth internalizing, because everybody is just filtering their perception of you and your life and your projects and everything through their lens, and they're not you. So do what you need to in order to maintain this feeling of overflow within your experience, and that will aid you in not feeling burnt out. And then also it will bring more of that experience of overflow. So the more that you continue to be on this path, like the more that you're going to continue to be a match to experiences that will fill you up and be fulfilling for you. So Knight of Wands, the Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands, and the Fool. Yeah, like passionate beginnings. I don't know if this is something that like you're just starting and you're just kind of like in the developmental stages internally about of like, oh, that'd be really cool. Like I really want to do this. Like what pieces do I need to get together? I don't know, but that passionate sort of beginner mind is necessary. Be willing to be a student, but also you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. So you know what you need, you know what you don't need. Stand on that and move forward with like that passion, that drive, that motivation. You have that clarity and that spark of motivation to really undergo this new adventure, this new journey, this new path, this new whatever it is. And there's the King of Wands again on the bottom. Maybe it's because the Four of Pentacles is on the bottom. Maybe you are already established in something and you're afraid of moving into something else because it's not what you already have. It's unfamiliar in that way. It seems unstable. But the way to make it stable is to lead with your creativity and with your knowingness of like with the Ace of Swords here twice, like you see clearly who you need and who you don't need involved in this project or in this collaboration of whatever it is. Don't go back on that and move forward strongly. with that. This feels like a confirmation of something that you already know. This is like validation. Maybe you needed this in order to actually act on it or continue to act on it. Like I'm not getting anything that indicates that you're second guessing yourself, but maybe you just needed to hear that, like, you're seeing this clearly, that you're taking into consideration the things that are necessary. And if you weren't, you are now. Page of Swords, the World, and the Page of Pentacles on the bottom. So you're undergoing a phase where you are like a student. Maybe like a student of the world. Maybe you're really good at like book smart stuff, but like you don't have a lot of practical experience with real life. And what I mean by that is that like the variety and subtlety that comes with human beings is different than what you will encounter in structured environments such as school and like corporate work. Real life humans are a lot more messy than that. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. Let me see. I like to pull from all my decks just because I'm nosy and I like to get every last drop of everything relevant out of here. Okay, beautiful uncaging, bearing fruit, endless possibilities, and into me I see. So this is intimacy related, basically getting acquainted with aspects of self that are connected to your passions, and allowing that to come forth and have more of a direct hand, if you will, in your life's orchestration. Like it's not an aspect of you that is within you that only you are aware of or you let come out in little ways here and there. It's no, like I'm taking the reins and we're going to do something creative with our life. We're going to do something that fills us up, that feels like a dream, that feels passionate, and that's scary because it feels brand new and it feels unstable, and like maybe you're more King of Swords energy, maybe you're more mental oriented, maybe you only do things if it makes sense and if it seems logical, but you're being called to follow your heart. And I know that's a very cliche thing to say, but from experience, it's definitely worth it. Absolutely worth it. And with endless possibilities, like that's just absolutely giving confirmation up the wazoo that everything is going to work out for you, that there are literally endless possibilities for you. And even if this is something down the line that like you decide, I don't really want to do this anymore, then like that's not the only path for you. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to do whatever it is that you feel called to be doing in any given moment. And what I mean by that is if you don't feel lit up by whatever this thing is anymore, give yourself permission to pursue other avenues. Because that part of you that doesn't feel lit up is trying to communicate to you that there is something for you elsewhere. And not just one kind of elsewhere. It's literally a sample platter, a buffet of experiences to be had. So don't box yourself in and listen to the parts of you that are trying to tell you that you need to expand and grow into something new, something that is a bit unpredictable, but that you're absolutely going to be much more fulfilled if you do so. So yeah, thanks for tuning into this. Normally I do multiple piles, but today I just felt like I wanted to do one. I might do another reading this week. Y'all might get lucky. If not, then I'll see you next week.